Hey, GCC Youth!
Hi!
We are doing social distancing this week.
We are.
Means there is 6 feet of space between us.
That's what's happening.
Christine is going to tell you a little bit about this week's video.
So this week's video is with Andrew Atwell. Once again, this is our last video with him. And this week, he skateboards with Bob Goff.
Should not be confused with Bob Ross. But we want to make sure, go to your Zoom rooms, interact with your small group leaders. We're taking attendance in those spaces so that we can give away a prize at the end of this whole thing. It'll be a $25 gift card or maybe even something cooler.
Like a puppy. I really want to give away a puppy, guys. I do.
Watch the video.
We're definitely gonna use this.
Oh, right in the shin. It is early on Monday morning and we are headed off to Los Angeles.
I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her.
Alright, so here I am in San Diego and I'm about to meet Bob Goff, and I've been really excited to meet Bob Goff for a long time. Bob Goff is the author of a book called Love Does that really shows you how love does. I'm just super excited to hang out with the guy. We're gonna go skateboarding, we're gonna hang out in a hot air balloon, we're gonna get some awesome fish tacos, okay, mediocre fish tacos. They were mediocre. I'm not gonna lie, the tacos were very mediocre. Now we're just waiting for Bob to show up. We're here in the lobby. He should be here any minute. I'm stoked. I still say stoked. Stoked. Just waiting for Bob.
Hey, you guys.
I like it. I'm Andrew.
Welcome to town.
Thank you.
Nice, good to see you.
Have you ever skateboarded before?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. There you go. Bob's really good. I gotta go. First off, what do you think of the fish tacos?
Changed my life.
Yeah?
Everything is different now.
Yeah. All right, so Bob, for someone who might not know like who you are, what makes you tick, kind of what's your story, could you kind of get us kind of up to speed in a sense?
Yeah, maybe a fast version. So went to college and wanted to go into youth ministry, actually. And so there's this terrific outfit, and you have to raise your support. So I raised all my support and said, so can I go on staff? And they said no. That was just good judgment on their part. And so I went to law school and got out, and then I was a lawyer for 30 years. And then a publisher said, will you write a book? And I said, I don't know, will you build a school? I'll trade you. One book for one school. And this school now has 1,000 child soldiers that are in it. And there's just something actually kind of beautiful about this idea of finding things, not just things that you're able to do, but what you're made to do.
Kind of off the back of this book, you start Love Does the ministry. How did this ministry get started? How have you seen this ministry grow?
You know what? How it got started is I went to all my friends who were doing terrific things, and I said, so can I help you? I don't need a day job, but what if I just help you for free? And they said no. Every single one of them. So I just said, this idea that when you get this passion inside of you, and then you ask somebody, like, can I do this? And they say no. I've heard so many people say that God shut the door. I'm like, no, just Billy said no. That's all that happened right there. That was the entire transaction. And so I just decided I'm just gonna do some of these things that I've wanted to do. And if we could get real with Jesus about what we actually want, I remember in high school, all I wanted was a date. Will someone go to the prom with me so I don't have to bring a broom? But one of the things that you can get real about, if you figure out what you want, then you can start asking the questions, are these the kinds of things that Jesus was talking about? He wanted us to want.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad about it, because Jesus never had problems with people who were confused like me. He had problems with people who were faking it. And if you want more faith, then do more stuff. And people that go on mission trips, people that are engaged in other countries, you'll find out more about what you want. You'll get crystal clear on that by engaging other people with your faith, but engage them without an agenda. The agenda, I'm trying to find out what I really want more than anything. You want to know something interesting? Like, grab a handful of sand, and that's 400,000 grains of sand. Isn't that crazy? I haven't stopped to count. Just taking it on faith. Wikipedia wouldn't lead me wrong. But if you live 92 years and have 12 conversations a day, that's what 400,000 looks like. I want to actually have a dozen conversations a day with people, but I don't want to just talk about stuff. I want to do stuff. And it's not because Jesus needs our help, because I ask him every day, and he keeps telling me he doesn't want my help, that he wants my heart.
I think a lot of us will say, let's live like this, but then we don't actually do it, if that makes sense. It seems like you're saying let's live like this and you actually go and do it. Like, how are you doing that?
Oh, it's super easy. I need these reminders, not unlike the Israelites as they were moving across the desert. They would stack stones, right? It wasn't because they ran out of paper. They just wanted to remember, oh yeah, this is where God showed up. And so I have all these crazy little things that remind me of why I'm doing what I'm doing. I have no left pockets in any of my pants. I cut them out. And the reason is that your faith is the sum of everything you're hanging on to and everything you're letting go of. And so anything I want to hang on to is in my right pocket. So I surround myself with 100 little reminders that of my purpose. Like, what is it? Tell me about the guy I'm becoming. I'm just making these small incremental changes in my life, but I'm doing it by reminding myself who I want to be.
Time goes by, yeah, you and I are running out.
So, for thousands of years, people have been saying that God is love. How have you seen God's love working within your own life?
Yeah, what a good question. Sometimes it can feel like when God's doing things in your life that are going just the way you wanted them to go, it's really easy to see that God's really loving because he's doing what you want him to do. But it's difficult sometimes when things happen that you go like, wow, where did that come from? And think about the story of the Jesus rowing over across the lake and the guy that's got all this, they say he's demon possessed. He took all the crazy and he threw it into this herd of pigs, right?
Yeah.
They run off the cliff. Can you imagine the conversation that the pig farmer had with his wife that night? He could say, you know, she said, how was your day at work, honey? He's like, well. So what was a great day for the guy on the other side of the lake was a lousy day for the pig farmer.
Yeah.
And it was even a worse day for the pigs. And so when you say, is God love? We don't always understand what he's doing in everybody else's life. But I go to the fundamental feelings, the most basic feelings of love and acceptance and connection. And I say that I just believe God placed those in us. And so when somebody asks me, is God loving? I would say, I honestly don't understand what he's doing because a lot of days I'm the pig farmer. But I've sensed love since the earliest memory that I have. I know what it feels like to have connection. I know what it feels like to be known. And I believe that God's the author of that. Not because I read it in a book, but I've experienced it in my life.
Sure. So, okay, for that pig farmer, obviously losing all of his pigs, that was a big obstacle. No pigs, you're not much of a pig farmer. Has there been an obstacle even in your life, in your ministry, that just seemed like, where did this come from? How do I get past it?
Oh yeah, all the time. We started by doing these interventions in India. They would buy and sell little girls that at the time were the age of my daughter. And so we started going into these red light areas and into brothels to find little girls. And we found 11 of them. And we set up a raid, we got these girls out. And then one of the girls got returned by the judge to her parents. And what's the problem with that was her parents were the ones that had sold her in. And so we went charging back into this red light area. And when we got out of the car, we got jumped by 300 bad guys. And we got stoned. Not like high school version, like we got stoned with rocks the size of cantaloupes. This goes on for 45 minutes and we are just beat up. And we end up actually in a hospital. Well, things didn't turn out the way that I hoped they would. I feel like this idea of engagement in our faith, like when something doesn't go the way that you were hoping it does, I don't feel distant from God, I actually feel closer. I feel more dependent on Him. And there's an underlying thing I can identify with in my life is that comfortable people don't need Jesus.
Sure.
And I'm comfortable. I got a car, I got a boat, I got a house, got all this stuff. The desperate people need Jesus. And I think sometimes God uses a little desperation in our lives to remind us just of how much we need Him.
A young person coming out of high school, how can they start to engage in desperate things while kind of within their environment?
Yeah, you do the things that would feel like a stretch for you. So desperate things don't need to be risky things. Because I don't think God's delighted when we go across the ocean as if that's more noble. I think He actually, we wow Him when we go across the street.
Yeah.
When we find somebody, go across a campus at your school to somebody, the one kid that's a little angsty that everybody kind of keeps a distance from. Something happens where they get desperate and they realize, oh my gosh, I actually need God. Start building that reliance into your life by doing more desperate things.
One, two, three, shaping this destiny. From soil and seed, we come from and will be. And I'm aiming for your soul. I believe I'll make you whole. And I say 1, 2, 3, give your love to me, to me, to me. I hope we break the tide. Oh, if I could be your light.
Bob, what are your thoughts when you see all this?
This is just amazing. I think what I like is that it's really still, and then it gets really loud. These blasts from the flames, but it's not unlike your life. You can go for a really long time, and then these blasts of everything just gets really loud in your life.
Yeah.
But it's actually the stuff that's the loudest keeps you aloft.
Feel the heat from that.
Yeah, totally.
It's just amazing.
So just think of it, what's your purpose? And that's what was Jesus' friends were asking him all the time. It was John 6. They said, what's our work?
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do? And he said, it's just to believe in the one who sent you.
Yeah.
So sometimes we think our work is to help Jesus out by doing this and that. And He doesn't need our help. He wants our hearts. But you got to go places. You got to take off. You want to make some moves in a direction, and then just trust that these winds that we don't even see are just going to continue to move us along. There's a guy whose name is Carl, and Carl, when he was in high school, he jumped into this lake. He was the class clown. He could hold his breath like a porpoise. So he would go into the neighborhood pools and hold his breath and fake like he was drowning, so the pretty lifeguard would jump in and give him a kiss. And so Carl goes to this lake. He jumps in off the end of this pier. It's 100 feet out into the lake. And he's doing this porpoise thing just under the surface. And a minute goes by, 2 minutes go by, 3 minutes go by. and he's still not up, and his friends get nervous. They jump in and they land up to their knees. Carl jumped headfirst into 2.5 feet of water.
Oh no.
And he broke his neck. And when you have this severe spinal injury, your body starts kind of shutting down. One of the first things to go is your ability to speak. And so Carl's in the ICU and he blinks a message to the nurse. 1 blink is A and 3 blinks is C. And he blinks to her, "When can I walk again?" And she puts her clipboard down and says, "You know what, you'll never be able to walk again." And this is sinking in on me. He blinks to her, "When can I use my arms?" And she says, "Carl, you'll never be able to use it." The only thing that worked after this injury was his mind, his eyes, and his tongue. Isn't that crazy? And he's actually learned to navigate his entire life with his mind, his eyes, and his tongue. So they built him this big contraption. It's got a straw in it, and he taps it with his tongue to go forward or backwards. He answers the phone with his tongue. He types letters with his tongue. I met Carl my first year of law school. He's a pretty hard guy not to miss.
Yeah.
And he had this big contraption, and he navigated all of law school using just his tongue. So it's the last day of law school.
Yeah.
And Carl sends notes to me and 2 other guys. And he said, "I want you to meet me in the law school parking lot." And so we show up at the parking lot, we get in this van, and we start driving north, and we end up in North County. Carl had a hot air balloon waiting in the middle of this field, and Carl is sitting next to it in this contraption. He steered there with his tongue. And Carl could never get out of this machine. He'd never get in a balloon. He'll never experience it, but he wanted us to experience stuff that he'd never experienced before. That would be a picture of Christian faith, that you want people to experience the kind of joy and hope and all the things that come with living an engaged life, and you don't even need to get in the basket with them. You don't have to control where it goes. And we took off. There was a couple blasts, and we all leaned our hands out and waved goodbye to Carl, but Carl can't wave back because he can't move his arms. Something beautiful, but we just knew.
As we touch back down on Earth, I think I finally realized what this entire journey had been about. God is reckless in his love for us. No matter where you are or how lost you feel, God is there, just waiting for our hand in this crazy adventure of life. The only question left is, what will you do? You have a choice. We all do. Life is one giant choice. Now, what will you choose? Me personally, I hope you love recklessly.
Alright, that's it for this week's video.
Thanks for joining us.
Be sure to use the links right down there.
Go to your Zoom group.
Talk to your small group leader. There's a boys link and a girls link. Remember,